Welcome to the Exposed Soil Equals Pollution Survey presentation. My name is Richard Klein. I've been advocating for improved construction site pollution control for 45 years. In this brief presentation, I'll explain how you can reduce pollution from the greatest single source in the Chesapeake Bay watershed. And you can do this from the comfort of your home. No, we're not talking about making a donation of dollars. Just asking you for an hour or so of your time. This slide compares the amount of pollution coming from each acre of various sources. As you can see, no other land use adds more pollution per acre to the Chesapeake than construction sites. Whenever you see exposed soil on a construction site, you can assume that a nearby waterway will be polluted come the next storm. This is because measures like the black silt fence you see here and ponds can't keep enough eroded soil on a construction site to prevent pollution. The only way to prevent construction site pollution is to minimize soil erosion. And this is best done by protecting exposed soil with a layer of straw mulch or grass. Straw alone reduces mud pollution by 90%. And a thick growth of grass reduces erosion by 99%. Once earth moving stops and building begins, both federal and state law requires protection of soil with straw mulch, grass, or other erosion control measures. So, if you see exposed soil on a construction site and construction has begun, you're not only seeing a pollution source, but a violation of one of our most important environmental protection laws. Unfortunately, the vast majority of Chesapeake Bay watershed construction sites fail to comply with this key pollution prevention law. You can help save the bay from construction site pollution without leaving your home. You can do this by using online aerial photos like this to evaluate construction site erosion control. All you need to do is note the percent of a site which is covered by grass, straw mulch, stone, or a consistent exposed soil. Then, add your findings to the Exposed Soil Equals Pollution database. Just type in the address that you see here to reach the online forum on the right. The data gathered by you and many others will make it possible to identify portions of the Bay watershed where control use is low and it's high. This will allow Bay advocacy groups to complement the localities who are doing well and increase public support for those government agencies that aren't doing such a good job in controlling construction site pollution. As shown here, past efforts like this have won dramatic improvements in control quality in a very short period of time. Now let's get to the very easy how-to. You'll be using aerial photos like those on Google Earth, Bing, and elsewhere on the internet. Google Earth appears to have the most recent aerial photos, which makes them best for saving the bay from mud pollution. Download the free version of Google Earth. You don't need the pro version. Do that by clicking the download button. Once you've got Google Earth up and running on your computer, take a high altitude look at your area. Each of the yellow to tan areas that you see circled here could be exposed soil, but each could also be a farm field, a mine, a construction site, or some other area of exposed soil. The next step is to zoom in from the 24,000 foot elevation for a more detailed look at each of these areas. After zooming in on the areas in the upper right, we see that these are obvious crop fields, not construction sites. Next, we zoom in on the area to the far left. After going from 24,000 feet down to 4,000 feet, it's pretty clear that we're looking at a construction site. But if in doubt, zoom in from 4,000 feet to less than 2,000, which allows you to clearly see that this is an active construction site. Exposed soil must be protected when earth moving ceases. On hilly sites, vegetation is cleared, then earth is moved about to create flatter areas so building can begin. When this point is reached, the site is said to be at rough grade. It makes no sense to apply mulch and grass to exposed soil during the earth moving phase. However, once earth moving ceases and the site is at rough grade, then all exposed soil must be protected with erosion control measures. It usually takes a few weeks after site clearance begins to reach rough grade. How do you know when earth moving has ceased? Well, if you see that roads are under construction or they've been completed, or that house construction has begun, then the site's at rough grade. Focus on those sites where building has started. Again, all of the exposed soil must be stabilized from the erosive effects of rain and runoff once earth moving ends. Ignore sites like this one, where building construction clearly has not begun, and where earth moving equipment is visible. The red circles surround earth moving equipment such as bulldozers, excavators, and dump trucks. Again, skip these sites and go on to others where earth moving is ceased. When more recent aerial photos become available in the future, you can check out the site again. You could also drive to the site to see if it's still under construction. The most common stabilization measures are straw mulch, grass, and covering road or parking lot beds with stone. These methods reduce mud pollution by 90 to 99%. Now let's get to the specifics of evaluating construction site erosion control. On this site, you can see that road and building construction has clearly begun. Clearly, past earth moving has brought the site up to rough grade. Earth moving activity has probably ceased for a period of weeks to months. By now, all the exposed soils should have been protected with a cover of grass, straw mulch, or stone. Note the three areas bounded with red. The green you see in these areas is, of course, grass. Based on the portion of the site that you can see on this slide, I'd say that the grass covers maybe 5 to 10% of the site. This is what those grass areas look like when viewed close up on the ground. Note that construction site grass cover can range from sparse to thick. The darker areas bounded with yellow is probably straw mulch, which is aged a bit. Mulch starts out yellow, then darkens with time. The yellow areas cover about 10 to 15% of the site that you can see on this slide. This is what straw mulch looks like up close. Again, straw mulch is yellowish when first applied, but gets darker with time. Note that the two areas bounded with blue. These are stone-covered road beds. Usually the stone cover is only present at points where a construction site road connects with a paved road. These blue areas cover maybe 2 to 5% of the site. And this is what these stone-covered construction site entrance roads look like on the ground. The stone is mostly 2 inches in diameter. The layer should be deep enough so you can't see soil through the stone. This usually requires a depth of 4 inches. Now that we've covered the basic how-to, let's go through the 4 easy steps for evaluating construction site erosion control. Step 1, verify that earth moving has ended by looking for road or house construction. If this is the case, then all soil should be covered with straw mulch, grass, or stone. Step 2, figure out what area was originally disturbed. This is the area that was cleared of vegetation and where earth moving has occurred. With this site, it's hard to tell where the site begins and ends, but Google Earth makes it easy to figure this out with past aerial photos. The red arrow points to the Google Earth icon for viewing past aerial photos. The red circle outlines the slide bar for use in looking at older photos. Keep using the slide bar until you go back and see the site prior to clearance. In the 2007 photo on the left, you see that the 2015 site on the right has not yet been cleared. Comparing the 2007 photo with the 2015 photo makes it easy to tell where the site boundaries lie. These boundaries have been marked in both photos with a broken red line. For step 3, rough estimates will do just fine. Here's the first of the 3 parts of step 3. In step 3A, estimate the percentage of the site which is covered by grass, straw mulch, or stone. For the area within the red dashed line, it appears that about 40% is green grass. Neither straw mulch nor stone appears to be present. It looks like the roads have all been paved, but we'll get to that in step 3C. For step 3B, about 40% of the site is exposed soil, all of these light areas that you see in here surrounding the houses. And now for step 3C, it appears that the houses and driveways and the roadbeds cover about 20% of the site within the red dashed line. After you've finished evaluating a site, add your findings to the exposed soil equals pollution database. Note that the third question asks for site coordinates. You can get site coordinates from Google Earth. The red line outlines the coordinates given on the Google Earth view. When you're finished entering data, go to the next construction site you'd like to evaluate. After receiving your data, we'll send you a confirmation. You'll also receive occasional reports showing what you and others have found, along with updates on how your efforts have reduced bay pollution. So be sure to give us your name and email address. If you wish, we'll protect your identity, though we prefer to acknowledge your help in saving the bay. To learn more about this topic, go to the Exposed Soil Equals Pollution webpage. Thank you for taking the time to view this presentation.